What it is, it's your boy Norms, and it is Monday morning. I know we're an hour late, right? But somewhere in this world, it's 10 a.m., so we're still on time. But I apologize, still getting everybody's schedule back in order. Uh, but we're gonna talk about it all today. We're gonna talk about the fallout from this weekend again. His coach spoke out, Caleb Plant, Breadman, I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao wants to fight Tank Davis. That's the rumor going around. We're gonna talk about that and everything else you guys want to talk about. And right after this. Hey, dog, what's good, man? What's
What's up,
popping
bro?
right now?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. I mean, I wake up to these kids going crazy. They
Uh,
don't know how to act. Just the usual.
Summertime, bro.
Oh my god, it sucks. So I'm in Atlanta, right?
Summertime coming up. Let's be real.
No, 100%. And the worst part is they're already out of school, so it's horrible. They're out of school. That in the South, they get out like in May. So they
My son's out. They out like I think probably 2 weeks now, something like that.
no, and they're driving me crazy. Shout out to my guy, Positive Vibes. Everybody tuning in and getting on right now. I mean, summer vacation. I remember when we took summer vacation. It seemed a lot more fun, right?
Right.
I remember just waiting to the end of the to that last day, and then boom, that last day of school comes, and it felt like summer just ended like the day after. Like it was weird. Like summer vacation, you were hype, and then it was over like within seconds.
Time flies by when you're having fun. You know how it goes.
Yeah, man. Summer vacation was the best, man. I ain't gonna lie.
How many times in New York?
Yeah.
New York or something.
You grew up in Long Island, right?
Yep.
It's not really New York City.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. I'm just.
What you want? Listen, we can talk about Long Island, then we can talk about upstate. Which one?
Whatever, dude.
Listen, some of your favorite rap artists come out of Long Island.
Who?
You know, Prodigy used to live out in Hempstead.
He's not one of my
favorites. You got Rakim, you got Buster. We can go on the list. Yeah. The only ones I respect from up north, up top is Griselda.
From Buffalo, that's Canada. They might as well be hanging out with Drake. Honestly, like Jesus Christ, it's cold. But this weekend was interesting, man. I'm still watching the fallout from it. We did an immediate reaction show, which really did well. So anybody wants to check that out, that's our last episode. And we kind of reiterated how we felt. And I'm not gonna lie though, I watched one guy, and I like this guy, my man Two Tone, right? And in his blog, he says, this is crazy. Canelo Alvarez is nowhere near this fight. And he says, after Caleb Plant's performance, Canelo's resume is in question. And I was like,
what the fuck you talking about?
Someone said that? Yeah, nah.
Come on, bro.
You can't do that, Tone. I'm gonna say this. Why? I'm gonna say this because sometimes after somebody beats you, that fighter may decline. Not saying that probably happened with Caleb, but you can beat the fight out of a fighter. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that he was bad when you fought him. Nah, you just beat the fight out of him.
No, and if that's the case, then it got to go all across the board. Then you got to say Benavidez. You got to say all these guys. Like, come on, man. Like, people are trying to figure out what went down with Caleb Plant. And there's an interview out right now with his trainer who, and I think he had brought up some stuff about weight cuts, and he was saying something about some fighters cut 40 to 50 pounds to make fights. And I was like, what? Jamel, this is your field. How in the world is it even physically possible?
It's possible, but it takes a lot out of you. That's why for me, I probably had to cut was maybe like I said, maybe 20, maybe.
Yeah.
Other than that, I try to stay around, like if I'm fighting at 130, I try to stay around like the welterweight limit, 147, and I just start dropping it down. But I drop weight so easily that I never had a real issue with weight. And plus, I work with a nutritionist to make it a lot easier and a strength coach to keep the to keep the muscle on. So I'm good.
I mean, first of all, when you're losing that much weight, or when you're cutting that much weight, you have to be losing muscle, and that's kind of crazy. Remember, we were speaking about Roy Jones when he went up to heavyweight and dropped down, and he had to lose muscle.
It's harder to cut. It's harder to cut muscle. It's definitely harder to cut muscle. It takes a lot out of you.
No, absolutely. And then you got to think about it too. As we get older, our bodies change. It's not as it's easy to lose and gain. I mean, it's easier to gain weight and stay out of shape than to lose it. And depending on how active you are, your lifestyle, you just had a kid, things change within life. And I'm gonna be honest, man. If that's the case, and I'm gonna play the interview's about 4 minutes. We can all watch it. Caleb Plant he's just reaching that age, bro. Like, to be honest, but to take away from his skill set is crazy. But in that fight, he couldn't avoid anything. Like, he was just getting caught by somebody who was definitely less superior than Canelo, than a David Benavidez, and he was getting caught probably cleaner in this fight than he ever got caught, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said before, once the reflexes start to fade away, it's hard. It's hard to be competitive at the top level. You can have all tools in terms of like strength and speed and things like that nature, which is cool. But if you can't get out of the way of punches over time in your boxing career, that's when you start to see the slow decline with fighters.
No, and then Positive Vibes brings up, do you see Emiliano use those trash bags over their body to lose water weight before their fights? I don't know much about that, but I know Jamel. I mean, what do you think?
I probably, like, for me, I'll probably use a sauna suit, but like maybe the last 3 days of my cut, because if you your body's like a sponge, so if you try to lose too much water over too quickly, your body's gonna go into basically like an emergency mode to save you from basically dehydration, overheating. So it's gonna after a while, it's gonna try to keep as much on you as it possibly can. That's why, like, you're supposed to gradually cut water weight, but you still have to put the water in you in order for your body to be like, okay, I know he's putting the water back inside, so I can afford to release whatever else is in my body. So, but if you try to just cut things off at one time, your brain and your body's gonna go into emergency mode, and that's when you start to see fighters having issues cutting the weight because it's trying to basically hold on to whatever it has inside your system.
That's crazy. I mean, and again,
no, seriously, I promise you, if I got to weigh in on Friday, I'll come into the week of the fight on that Monday, 10 pounds heavy. They want supposed to cut, but it's mainly water weight. So basically, probably Monday, I'm drinking, maybe depending on where I'm at, 2 gallons or a gallon and a half of water. Then Tuesday, you cut it down to a gallon and a half. Wednesday, a gallon. Thursday, then you just, you know what I'm saying, you probably like three quarters of a gallon of water, but you're slowly, gradually cutting the water out so you can lose more as you go on.
How big of an impact?
That's how you do it safely. But if you try to cut everything off at once, it's gonna put your body into shock, and that's when you start having issues.
I mean, you know what's crazy? I feel like specifically the last 2 years in boxers, it seems like they've been having so much more trouble with the weight cuts. I mean, we've watched Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, just struggle with the weight. And then even when they go fight, balloon 25, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it now? I mean, maybe I'm bugging. Maybe it's always happened, but why is it so much different now?
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of guys try to get that edge, because you see these guys, they really blown up in the ring, like almost 30 pounds over the limit at times. But sometimes these guys are just mostly like people you mentioned, they're young. They're young, so their bodies are still growing. I mean, look at Devin Haney. It was not too long ago. He was unified lightweight champion of the world, and now we're thinking, talking about he's probably have to fight at welterweight soon, very soon. So these guys are still young. They have to realize that their bodies are still growing, and they have to just be smart about their approach in terms of training camps. No, but honestly, even for myself, like with my nutritionist, she would gradually cut my weight down because I would still eat. There was times I would still eat the day of the weigh-in. And people consider me a big super featherweight or whatever, but I wasn't killing myself. You know, I was doing it the right way. There's a lot of science in all sports across the board. So basically we was doing the science, and you know, and the reason why I will still eat every day of that week is because if you don't eat, your stomach starts to shrink. So you know, after the weigh-in, a lot of guys try to basically put on, and that's when you start to look sluggish and you look like shit in the ring the next night. So we would do, not only we were still drinking, we were still eating, but we were cutting down the portions of our meals during that week, so that when it's time for me to put back on all my weight, my stomach wouldn't shrink so much, and it would be easier just to put back on the weight and be effective the next night for the fight.
That's crazy, and you know, and it's kind of crazy too, because I know I think it's the IBF, right? I think it's them.
Yeah.
That have the I think it's like a 10-pound rule or something like that.
10-pound rule on the morning of. I've dealt with that too.
How difficult, and you know, it was funny because Boots avoided it because he had multiple belts, right?
Yeah.
So how difficult is that with the rules to keep it on the 10 pounds?
I mean, for some parts it's difficult. For me, like if I were weighing at 130, I would probably come in the next morning anyway at 138, and then go to get on the scale. And right after I get the scale, my nutritionist will bring me up for breakfast, and I'll put back on the weight. So, like, honestly, if you do it the correct way, it really doesn't. I don't. For me, at least, I don't see any difference from you just doing one weigh-in and then going to the fight the next night. Because, like, again, if you do the science and you have a team that knows what the hell they're doing, it really doesn't. I don't say it really didn't bother me. But again, I'm different from others, of course. But if you just do it the right way, you still put on that weight that you was looking to put on for the fight night anyway.
Now the age, once, like, and I know you had to just, how much difficult it was for you. I mean, maybe not you, when fighters start getting older.
I mean, I know I can still make 130 if I wanted to. I mean,
You're a Marine. Your mentality.
I mean, I'm just saying though. Like, I mean, age does play a factor, but I'm just different. I'm just, like I said, I can only speak for myself. Yeah. But like I said, I've been in camps with, like, you know, guys like Bud. I've seen Bud go from, you know, when we started working together, from junior welterweight, because I was in the camp with him for the Indongo fight. So yeah, I seen him go from junior welterweight, and we shared the same nutritionist. So I would see with guys like Bud, because Bud puts on a ton of muscle over time. So yeah, it's different for certain guys, especially when you start adding on muscle. It's definitely harder to drain the fluid, you know, from muscle. But so it all depends on your body structure and your frame.
And it's crazy because I don't know, Navarrete is a 130-pound fighter, and he looks like he shows up like at 200 pounds. He looks like, what do you have to weigh?
No, he likes to party. That's the problem. He likes to party.
A lot of cervezas.
You know everything. Yeah, you know everything comes out to the public light. You know, he likes to party. He drinks at times. So it's that beer. Like, it's all those carbs and all. It's that beer that really kills fighters. It's like, for me, I stay away from it. I don't do beer.
No, I mean, but it's crazy because I'm watching Navarrete and I laugh because he shows up and he looks like one.
Well, you see, it's catching up to him. You see his performances now. He's starting to look a little sluggish. And it's like one. I remember one fight, because I was commentating one of his fights. He's eating Twinkies and stuff, you know, the day after after he gets on the scale, and he basically at that point was saying that I could basically eat anything I want. Well, now it's starting to catch up to him, and you know, and his performances are showing.
And that's why he wants to go up to him. And I love Navarrete, man. I think he's such a good fighter, man.
But that's the thing also, like, how successful will he be at 135? Because you see, when he made a run for the title there, you know, he had a hard night, and then Keyshawn comes around and fights the same guy and blows him out.
Well, he did say his hand was injured. That he did say that he had to get wrist surgery. Whatever. We're not gonna make excuses, but let's check out this interview. This is the first time I'm watching it.
I have to have carte blanche, because now we're not going to be fighting Resendez. We're going to be fighting Resendez time 2, because he's going to be so confident. And the next time he fights Caleb, he's going to think he can stop Caleb. So it's going to be a very, very hard fight. And
that's a harder fight, I think.
It's going to be a harder fight. The one thing I will say is I want to bring in the kind of sparring partners that I want to bring in. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain kind of sparring partner for a certain kind of guy. I want to bring in the guys that I would want to bring in, and that would be the number one thing. I'm not going to talk about anything else, but that would be, we would have to get a certain kind of guys to just deal with the pressure coming down the stretch. You know what I mean? The gym is for where you make your mistakes at. We have to get certain kind of guys to push them past that threshold of getting past. Because Caleb is money. Caleb probably the best 4 or 5 round fighter in the fucking world. But once the fatigue starts setting in, he's running out of ideas, and the guys keep putting pressure, then that's where we had some trouble. So I would want to be able to get past that. And if we get past that, we could handle Resendez. But like I said, it's going to be a much harder fight next time. You know.
What do you think about what he's saying initially right there? I got to pause.
I see a lot of red flags. Shout out to my man Bread Man. Yeah. Maybe I'm missing something here with what he just said. But for starters, you know, he's the head trainer. He's the head coach in there. Like, how do we not have the right sparring partners in camp? Yeah. That also kind of tells me what we said, what we assumed over the weekend. Maybe they didn't take this fight seriously enough to where they had to get the right sparring. He just said also after 3 or 4 rounds, they ran out of ideas. That's kind of telling right there. You know, that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary, honestly, when you hear your trainer say we ran out of ideas, and it's a 12-round fight. Like, yo, so I don't know. I don't know if he's just being open and honest, but at the same time, it's the choice of words, they don't fit well. Salute to my man Kano as well out there. But yeah, like Kevin Jackson just said, they didn't do enough video studying on the guy, and it showed. I
found it interesting when he said the pressure when it comes to a fight like him, he's the best 4 to 5 round fighter until the pressure starts to get to him. I think that's really telling right there, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're pretty much putting out your fighter's weaknesses or whatnot. But if this is the case,
but we said it over the weekend after the fight. We said Caleb will beat your ass from the outside all day if you let him keep popping that jab and keep and moving. But when it's time for the other side to basically get in his face and in his chest, that's when you start seeing all the holes in the defense, and you know the inside game isn't as strong as his outside game. So one thing I like about guys like, you know, Bomac and them, they would always try to focus on your weaknesses. You know, you already know your strengths in the gym. But for the most part, if you had an issue one fight, he would always, you know, him, Red, and Saul, they would always try to basically strengthen that in the next camp and moving forward to where it's a habit where it becomes second nature to you. And that's when you develop your strengths in the gym and become an all-around fighter.
No, I mean, no, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like you said with Bomac, they try to focus on your weaknesses. There's no way that you just realize that right now, right? So why didn't you have the right sparring partners?
Right.
Why did you not?
And I'm pretty sure they train in Vegas. There's no excuse. There's plenty of fighters out there that you can. Like the networking out there in terms of training is so big that you can pretty much make a phone call. Even if you gotta get somebody on a plane, they're coming out there. You know, especially there's a Caleb Plant training camp. They're coming out there to help. So I don't, like I said, there should be no excuses for that. But I mean, they accepted they lost. They you know,
I'm pushing for the rematch.
Redman gave, you know, he gave him his flowers, and that right there tells you that's probably going to be the next thing. There's going to be a rematch, so you could forget all the Edgar Berlanga fights and the Charlo fight. They're going to have to get that confidence back up before they move forward to the bigger fights.
And another thing he pointed out is that you're going to see Resendez part 2. He feels like he can knock him out now, and there was a lot of shots that he was cleanly catching Caleb with. And I don't think that has anything to do with the game plan. I don't think his reflexes are there. And you pointed that out on Saturday. He was getting hit clean. The most we've ever seen him get hit.
Yeah, once the reflexes start to go, it could be dangerous for any fighter. That's any fighter. It's not just Caleb, it's any fighter. Once your reflexes is shot, it's over.
Yeah. He said
Kano once he was looking for that, like I say, and Kano called, he said, I wish that before the fight, he said that he wanted Kevin Newman to get the fight. He said Kevin called out Caleb for the fight. They never answered.
Yeah.
So that was that, and you know, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm not to get off. So I like Kevin too, but Kevin needs a big win, man, to get one of these fights. I mean, but again, Resendez wasn't a big name either, and he came up. So, you know, I believe.
I mean, I'm pretty sure more people know. No disrespect to old boy, but more people know who Kevin is. At least in the boxing world. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna give that guy a shot, give Kevin the same opportunity.
But to that point, I think it was more so. They didn't. I don't even think they did research on this guy, bro. They really did not. I remember he came up as well.
That's nothing. When you like, say for instance, I probably would have fought a guy like Kevin, and I would say this because usually when you're preparing for a bigger fight, you try to fight a style that's closely to the style you're trying to get ready for. So Kevin's a boxer. Big Charlo, Jamal Charlo is a boxer as well. The guy that Caleb Plant didn't fit none of that. He was small. He was shorter. He was shorter, right? He was shorter.
Yep.
He was a pressure fighter. So like that fight was not the right fight to prepare him to fight a guy like Jamal Charlo. Anyway, now if you'd have fought somebody like Kevin, that'd have made more sense. That's what I pointed out when the reason why I fought Okendo over guys that was like 6 foot is because I was getting ready to fight Carl. I knew Carl Frampton was coming around the corner. I knew that was going to be the next big fight. So you gotta. That's another thing. Like who chose the opponent?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Caleb Plant had options. That's what I mean. Caleb with his name, like Top Rank was giving me options to the 3 names. You know what I mean? And we go from there. But like I'm pretty sure Caleb had options, and it's like that option did not fit any description of a Kevin Newman or a Jamal Charlo.
No, let's keep hearing what he's saying. There's more to this. Hold on.
Because he was humble. He worried me all week, bro. I'm telling you. He was humble. He was talking about his baby, and he just had a real even demeanor. And I was just like, fuck, man. I kept telling Caleb's like, we got a fucking fight. Don't think this is a party. I kept saying.
Hold on. That right there. Jamal, what were we saying? He has a daughter.
I don't know. I felt like trying to throw my man under the bus a bit.
No, he is. He's saying that Caleb mentally wasn't there. He's talking about his daughter. He's getting soft. These are his words. Holy shit. I mean,
but that doesn't happen just fight week. That's the thing you got to see gradually throughout the whole camp. You know what I mean? At the top level, you have a 6 to 8 week camp. You again, I know guys like Wayne McCullough, like again, Bomac again, they would pull me to the side every day or every other day or so and ask me how I'm feeling, you know, where am I mentally, and that's what you know, good trainers do. Not saying that Breadman is a great trainer in his own right. You know, he has world champions under his belt as well. But I'm just saying though, most trainers are more than just the guys that just prepare you out inside the gym. You know, these are guys that are with you, you know, outside the gym as well to just to see how you are mentally. Because again, boxing is more mental than physical. And if you're not there mentally, you're going to have a rough time in there under those bright lights. And if you're saying that you're seeing these things during camp, you got to correct them. You got to pull your fighter to the side. You got to get them in check.
No, I mean, listen, daughters do make you soft, guys. That's a fact.
But like I said, I take my ass away from home when I go to training camps. I'll see you in 2 months. FaceTime me if you need me. FaceTime me if you need. Hey, technology. Hey, at least you got to call me if you need me. I'm 1 phone call away, but during these hours, I gotta put my focus in. I gotta put my focus in the gym. And another thing, you gotta get the proper rest, people. You gotta take care of your body. You gotta rest. So if you're at home with the family, and there's nothing wrong with being around family, but if you're at home with the family and you're still chasing behind kids, running errands for, you know what I'm saying, for the wife or whoever and so forth, it's gonna take you out of your element. It really is. That's why, you know, a lot of top fighters, they just go away. They just go away to just solely focus on boxing. Because boxing is a dangerous sport, and you have to give it your all when you go in through those doors in that gym.
Yeah. He said, Jordan Smith says, if you listen to Breadman in this clip, it's clear Caleb overlooked this guy. I think they should rematch for that reason. If you can't make adjustments and beat this dude, Caleb should look to retire. I'm with you. I'm just really surprised that he's saying all these things. Like, he is throwing Caleb under the bus, but let's continue to hear what else Breadman had to say.
More?
And it over.
There's more?
There's more. This is like 4 minutes.
And over in camp, you got Rich Barrientos and Tony Brady. I'm like, this boy is coming to fight, man. I'm telling y'all, don't fucking take this guy. And I'm not saying Caleb did, but
yes, you
I just
are.
got this thing with me where I've been on the other side of this and won some fights as big underdogs. And you know that look. You know that look when the guy is gonna fight, and it makes your stomach hurt. It makes you like queasy because you it's no such thing as, oh God, I got a feeling my guy gonna lose. I'm gonna pull out of a fight. You can't do that. But you know it when the guy is gonna throw down. You could just feel it in your guts. You can feel it in your bones. It's an energy that give off. And I swear to God on my kids, I told Caleb, I told his wife, I kept telling him, bro, this motherfucker gonna fight, bro. Don't believe the hype. This boy gonna fight. And all this stuff about them moving up in weight. Everybody in boxing is cutting 25 or more pounds. So when the guy get the fight at a weight 8 pounds higher,
hold on. Oh, Jamel, what do you got to say to that?
I'm like I said again, I'm not cutting that. I'm not cutting like that. I never did cut like that. I never been 30 pounds over. I never been 25 pounds over. But I get what he's saying. But at the same time, I think Breadman's saying too much. I mean, this video is gonna be out there forever. You know, the video's gonna be out there forever. And I probably would feel some way if I'm Caleb and I'm listening to this, because I need to hear from Caleb. You know what I'm saying? He may have had a different story. Like, but you sitting there saying that I wasn't basically focused. I was too worried about the family and yada yada. Like, yo, let that man, you know, speak it for himself, because he's the one in there. He's the one also away from the gym when he's not in front of Breadman. But I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, man. This is not. I don't think it's gonna.
I don't want to see it either, though. Like, why do we have to see a it shouldn't be rematch. It shouldn't be rematch talk to begin with.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I don't want to see a rematch either, but it's inevitable at this point.
Because that's crazy. I'm saying, but if you have a rematch and you still go in there and struggle, even if you squeeze out a win and you still go out there and struggle with a guy that you're supposed to blow out, it's not gonna look good.
Sheldon says, as a trainer, should he be talking like that?
You talk like that on the side, Sheldon. You talk like that on the side. You pull your guy to the side, like, hey man, listen, see, I told you this is what I was trying to tell you. You know, you was too focused with this and You don't get in front of you don't put it all out there. Just be like, you know, my guy just didn't seem like he was focused this week. We got to work on some things. We're gonna come back stronger. We're gonna come back better. Leave it at that. That's it. But he used to go into detail. I told his wife. I told
This is bad.
Yo,
This is bad.
it's like he knew the whole time this dude was coming to fight, and Caleb was just oblivious. Like, I knew it. You can see the hunger, you see the dog in his eyes. You don't need bread. You ain't got to say all that, bread. You just pull your guy to the side. Hey man, it's all right.
We understand this isn't a team sport, but it is a team. That's
a team sport. It is a team sport. But again, you rely on your team to keep your ass in line, and that's cool, though. But you don't need a team to put you out there, because, like I say, he just in the moment, but like you pointed out, he's out there exposing weaknesses. Yeah. So it's like, okay, he got a problem with pressure fighters. Okay, he's only good for 3 or 4. He's only good for 3 or 4 rounds. Then we're going to drown him out. You know, you're revealing too much here.
Connor brings up a great point. The trust is gone. I don't see Caleb still training on him.
It's going. Yeah, that's how y'all know how it goes. You take that bad loss. Hey, I had to make some changes with my team.
Jamel, there's more. There's more. There's more.
He's gonna have more muscles. He's gonna have more carbs. His blood gonna feel better. That's not I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but sometimes it works out for him. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to dry out and go. I want y'all to peep something in boxing. Listen to how fighters talk at the weigh-in. At the weigh-in, before they get on the scale, listen to how they talk. Go interview a fighter. 9 out of 10 of them, their vocal cords is drained. They can't even talk right, because they've been cutting so much weight. It takes something out of their vocal cords, and they talk with a deep whisper. It's brutal. See how Resendez was talking? It's cool. All that little shit matters, man. He had an even kill in his personality, man, and I knew we was in for it. I wasn't bragging or talking, none of that, because I know what can happen when a guy has that kind of ambition, and when he has that kind of, you can't measure a man's ambition. The great Nazem Richardson used to tell me that in the gym all the time. Like, you can't measure how bad this other guy wants it. That's a hell of a thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes fighters, you know, they don't even know subconsciously if they let off the gas. They don't even know it. But Resendez is not rich. He's not rich. Bro, making money and taking care of your family is a hell of a motivation. I'm standing up here right now. My back is hurt. You know why my back hurt? Because I flew home Wednesday night. Because my kids ran in the CYO championships Thursday night. We didn't get home till 11 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to be up at the airport to be back out here to get this weigh in. You'll do anything for your kids, anything in the world.
You think so?
It seems like he's digging at his dedication right now, bro. His desire. That's what it sounds like, Jamel. I mean, Jesus, this is terrible.
Hey, I would never question any man as a father, as a parent, what they do. Some things I would just let that out there because you're gonna have that one person who'll be like, well, you're supposed to make sacrifices. Your team, you know how it goes. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is bad.
I don't know. I'm with Connor. This
is bad.
I don't know. This relationship may have some strain. It may come to an end. If I'm looking back on this, I'm like, damn. I'm just saying.
I mean, if you're Caleb Plant, you have to question this simply because even throughout the entire camp, this may be the first time Caleb's actually hearing this. And
that's what I'm saying. Imagine you waking up looking at your phone. He's like, damn. He was going. Then you got to read the comments. Like shit. Like,
yeah, this is old. I don't want to say this, but it's gonna come off as betrayal. Like, to be honest with you, man. And you're saying, my back hurts because I had to travel all the way back. You're kind of questioning his dedication to this. This guy's not rich. You said this guy's not rich. Caleb is. I don't know, man. If I'm Caleb Plant, I am fucking livid watching this. I wonder if Caleb even seen this.
No, I'm pretty sure you got the word. I'm pretty sure.
This is bad. There's still a little bit more. I'm gonna play the rest of it, but this is crazy.
The boy talking about having a baby.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that kind of shit. You don't.
You can't fake it.
You can't. I'm telling you.
Hey, turn this shit off, man. We done, yo.
No,
we can't bring up that man person, man. Listen, man.
Oh my God, he bring up Caleb wanting another baby is fucking crazy. So what?
Damn.
So what? Now you could possibly be putting a rift between himself and his wife.
His wife, yeah.
What is wrong with it? I mean, respect to Breadman, but this is something you should have asked to be taken down from the internet. Whoever shot this, you should have told him, listen, it wasn't the right time. I was emotional.
They did their job.
No, they did. They did.
You as a public figure to watch what you say.
Somebody said this AI is good. I don't think that's AI, bro. It's not AI. I'll tell you this right now, man. These are all things that
Google video, whatever they call it, is superb.
Listen, Caleb came out and did say he wanted to have another child. I've read this. He also came out and was talking about his clothing line.
What's that got to do? But what's that got to do? What's that got to do? Like, I mean, if you want to expand your family, that's your personal business. But like I said, you could separate, business and pleasure, pretty much.
Listen,
for
Breadman's sake,
Hey, Sheldon, I hope you're right, but it don't like AI, ain't that great where it lasts a 4 or 5 minute, sessions and video.
I mean, I know I said this already. I asked this already, but if you're Caleb Plant, if this is you, Jamal, and your trainer did this interview, what is your next move?
I might get a bad idea. We might have a good sit down or something. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt at first, but like I'm gonna feel some way still looking back at that video. Like, damn, and said I'm great at 3-4 rounds, and then the tank is low. You put the family out there. You basically I was more focused on with the home front than I was in the gym.
Yeah.
Then you sitting there saying you had to leave, to go home, and your back was hurting now, and
try to show that you were more dedicated than him. That's how I took that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like you was all in it, and I was just letting it go over my head, and I wasn't focused. And
wow, I'm not gonna lie, man. He may regret this. I mean, he's gonna lose a lot of money behind it. Even if you're another fighter,
social media has folks talking way too much, man.
No, listen. Even if you're another fighter, Caleb Plant is an influential fighter. He's very popular. A lot of people see this. If you're another fighter, you're looking at him like, damn.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Yeah, no,
Are you looking at it? I'm not going over there.
He said, still having gastric issues, the biggest concern, in my opinion. Yes, but to me, I think
that's why you go hire a strength and conditioning coach. I'm not saying he didn't have one, but that's why you have a team. Your trainer may not know everything. Your trainer may not know the science of everything. That's why you go get people from the outside and you bring them in camp. Starters, like I said, you had the wrong sparring. You probably had guys that was in there that you could just do whatever with them. They're just there to collect a check.
Yeah,
beat on them and whatever. So sometimes you need guys that really push you. And for that type of fight, he needs somebody to really. You need at least 2 or 3 good sparring partners that really push him and then have them all rotate out and keep them all fresh. And you know what I'm saying. And while they're fresh, they're making you fight. They're building your stamina. They're making you think in there more.
To your point, Jamal, as a trainer, as the head trainer, you should have brought in the right.
That's what I'm saying. You can't put that. You can't put that everything on the fighter. No. I could never tell guys, hey, I want to use this sparring. I mean, I can give suggestions, but if they felt that no, this guy isn't the right fit, this guy's a better fit, this guy's a better fit. All right, whatever. Then let's go with that. Let's go with these guys and let's go for it. Then we will see how they will work. And if they didn't do their job, we send their asses home and we'll bring somebody else in. That's how you conduct real training camps.
And as a coach, you're supposed to be the voice of reason, the person that's like, look, this is what he's gonna do. You're there completing the strategy. So the fact
that says it right there. Like if you're just a pure boxer, you're expected of yourself to have a full tank that's gonna run for 12 rounds. He's talking about on 3 or 4 rounds. He's talking like Caleb's still in the amateurs. This is a man that was a world champion that even even going into the late rounds, he was still in there with Canelo. So you can't use that. He's only good for 3 or 4 rounds. Yada yada yada. This man's he's not a Maidana. He's a boxer.
Yeah. Now this is a wild interview, and
Caleb has a stick and move style.
Yeah.
So if you can't keep that up for 12 rounds anymore, that's questioning right there as well.
He said, y'all think Caleb should work with Ballsy moving forward?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You got to find the right. For one, Caleb has to want to, have that dog in him still, that mentality.
Yeah.
You can send a fighter. You can send a fighter anywhere, but if they don't have that hunger and that dog, that right there will be an issue for everyone within that camp.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely needs to be with somebody that's going to take him out of that comfort zone, take him away from the family or whatever for a while. Basically take charge, make him work. Because sometimes you get sometimes when fighters get to a certain level, they start becoming more of the boss. You know what I mean? They come in whatever time they want to come in. They half-ass. They feel like, oh, we'll do better tomorrow.
Yep.
Sometimes you need a trainer that's going to be like, I don't care who you are. When you come in my gym, we're going to do things my way. Yes, I will hear you out and take suggestions, but we're not going to just let you control the whole entire camp and do whatever the hell you want to do.
No, absolutely. And you're right. Like, and again, back to the point with the sparring partners, you need to be the one handling that. Why is your fighter suggesting that? I mean, I get having input, but he got you there to steer him in the right direction and to put him in position to win these fights. This might be the craziest interview I've ever seen from a coach in my life. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is crazy, bro. This
Carlos has some real shit. And Billy, who's a pressure fighter with power,
yeah,
and the dog, like he gonna be on you a full 12-round fight. That'd have been an ugly fight. I said it before. I think that version of Caleb Plant would have lost to a lot of those guys at the top level. Even Jamal pointed out that if he was in there with him, that'd have been bad. It'd have been bad.
Let me ask you a question. Now this poses the question.
But would he have came with a different game plan? Would he have taken the fight a lot serious? Who knows?
Oh no, that's actually my question.
Billy, if that wasn't M. Billy, or if that was a Charlo,
Yeah.
or that was a Berlanga, would he taking camp a lot more serious? I don't know, because like I said, from what Breadman is saying, they didn't take camp too seriously. They was too focused on other things. So when you like again,
well, that day,
kind of know sometimes fighters fight down to their opponent's levels, or or they overlook them. But when you get a guy, when you get a fighter that's at a higher class, you definitely have a better mindset going into camps. So who knows?
So well, remember, it wasn't they. He said he was referring to Caleb didn't take it that serious. My question is,
they didn't take it's a team. They didn't take it seriously. Again,
yeah.
My trainer didn't get the right sparring partners. I don't care what anyone says. My trainer wasn't on my ass like he should have been. So it's not. You can't just throw it on a fighter. If that's the case, why am I here? I don't need to be here. If that's the case, you're gonna just throw it on me.
Yeah, but that's what he did. He really pointed out everything that Caleb didn't do. And then, like he even said in the interview, I was dedicated. I had to go all the way and do this, and I had to talk to his wife. You were talking to his wife about his training camp. You were questioning his desire, pretty much. You put it all on him. Now, that leads to my next question before we move on for the subject. But so, was it age or was it just life?
It was preparation. I say he's still young. He's only 32 years old. He's not. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, he looked old, but I guess he wasn't prepared. Speaking of old, look at this. Shout out to Boxing Kingdom. Love those guys. Manny Pacquiao is eyeing a super fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. Pacquiao's advisor, Sean Gibbons, stated when he beats Mario Barrios, lined him up his dream fighter, Gervonta Davis. He loves that fight. He has tried to get that fight for a couple of years. Manny Pacquiao can get his belt, and it's going to be a wonderful ride out. I mean, what do you think?
I'm gonna say this. I need everybody to chime in. Just hear me out. I blame the YouTube boxing era.
Okay, speak on that, please.
I will. Because think about it. YouTube fighters, and much respect to them, they do bring in the crowd. They do draw. They do, bring a lot of light to the sport of boxing. So I'll give them that. But at the same time, they put on all these dream matches, and you start seeing now these professional fighters that we grew up watching, whatever, start doing basically exhibition fights with whoever, because that individual may be a popular individual, or it just may look cool as a headline. Because in what world 10 years ago, even at their levels where they're at now, what world 10 years ago would you say a Manny Pacquiao and Gervonta Davis fight was going to take place, and it'll be cool to do.
And then think about this. I mean,
like I said, think about it, like the Jake Pauls. I like Jake and them. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that like when Jake and his base will accept him calling out anybody. I mean, even they were entertaining the idea of Jake versus versus Tank. That's what I'm saying. Like it's that YouTube era will be making putting these dream matches, whatever you want to call it, in people's heads, and it's starting to become the norm where you got legends like Manny Pacquiao, excited and really, really thinking about fighting a guy that's at lightweight. So it's the social media boxing era.
I'm gonna give this a different spin for everybody listening, right? I now believe that Manny might be having financial problems. I really do. What would be a bigger opponent, or what's the biggest opponent that he can face at this moment who's going to draw the bank?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what it is. It's a dream fight. Not even a dream fight. It's just a fantasy matchup.
I think it's a money fight.
It's going to draw in a lot of attention, media, and endorsements, sponsorships, all that. Yeah, it's going to draw in all that.
We may have to question
Man, Tank, go get your money, Tank. But just stay focused on what's in front of you, which is Lamont Roach, because again, We've seen too many upsets this year in the sport of boxing. So you can't see that's a problem. Even Pacquiao, you might want to stay focused on Barrios. You gotta stay focused on Barrios because you're 46 years old. This dude is still young. He has all the physical tools as it is over, you know what I'm saying, over Pacquiao. Yeah. So Pacquiao, everybody in this graphic need to stay focused on what's in front of them right now, though, before they start thinking about all these crazy ass fights.
I just feel like, and I feel like, and Jamal, maybe I'm bugging, but I feel like, I think Manny is, again, I think he's a financial problem. I've been hearing stuff. I didn't want to believe it, but you got to think about it. His biggest fight was who? Floyd Mayweather, right? Made $100 million. Gervonta's probably the closest fighter.
Wasn't Pacquiao having issues with the tax man, the IRS?
Yes, that's why I think he's getting a little snack with Barrios to set up a big fight, and this is the biggest fight he could obtain. But another thing is he's going to go down to 135. When was the last time Manny was at 135?
He's going down to 135.
You think Tank's going up to fight him? There ain't no way Tank's going up, bro.
I mean, they're not meeting in the middle nowhere.
Tank is gonna be like, you coming down, and he's gonna be like, man, that check gonna look good. I'm gonna get killed at 135. Man, he's not.
Pacquiao might end up with another the last fight with Marquez. If that's the case, because that weight cut. You ain't listen. We seen what happened when Oscar fought Pacquiao coming back down to 47, and he ain't been down there in how long, and it killed him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even think. Maybe 140, but come on, man. If you get Pacquiao,
legend.
That's another thing. That's another thing too. If Pacquiao agrees to even entertaining that type of talk, it's a money issue. There's no way in the world a legend should have to come down to anybody.
Remember, there's nobody at 147 that can generate the amount of money that he can generate. Let's be honest.
That's why I said the other day that the no disrespect, but the 147 division right now is kind of struggling.
Yeah, and I remember he was flirting with a fight with Ryan, I think 2 years ago. Why? Ryan was popular.
Yeah,
money. So I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I do think it's starting to sound like it is a money thing, and he wants that big paycheck. He's coming back with Barrios. If he beats Barrios,
he's seen again. Like I said, the YouTube era. Shout out to the YouTube fighters. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Y'all keep doing your thing, but he's probably seen that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson matchup and was like, you know what? That looks like a good idea.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Tank is licking his chops right now. I think Tank is taking it. He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I think Tank takes this fight.
Did you see Pacquiao's exhibition, his last exhibition fight? He was taking a lot of hits.
Ugas?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm sorry. Tank is going to kill him if they fight.
They're about the same height. So they're about the same height. You bring them down to 135, and he ain't been down there in I don't know, 15, 20 years or so. It might be a whole deal.
I don't see Tank making himself uncomfortable in any regard. He's going to take the fight at 135. I think he's going to pay him. And I think Tank is going to look at it like, yo, I'm probably going to get close to the numbers I want, maybe close to 100 million. If Manny looks good against Barrios, let's say he looks good against Barrios, punch that ticket. We're gonna see Gervonta versus Manny Pacquiao.
Still gotta go to the Roach fight. We're not gonna disrespect Lamont Roach. Still gotta.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Lamont Roach has been already felt like he hasn't gotten his just due. That's still a hard fight. That's a hard fight. And that was a good fight between those two. So I'm pretty sure Lamont's confidence is 10 times high as now, and who knows? Tank may feel like he got some things to work on. So you got one guy probably feel like he's the king of the world. Other guy may feel like I really got to get my shit together for the second time, for the second go. So you still gotta focus on what's in front of you. But it is what it is.
I hope it doesn't happen, man. But I have a feeling this may actually materialize and happen.
Boxing funny right now, though. You either got fighters that want to go for now. Everybody wants to go for undisputed on one end, but then you got another half of it that wants to make on matchups like this.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, it's tough here. That Roach fight not happening. They waiting him out. I thought it got locked in for August.
I thought it was August 16th.
Yeah, I thought it was August 16th in Vegas. I think I don't know.
I thought it was August 16th in Vegas.
They said that Roach fight ain't happening. They waiting him out. In my opinion, Tank. I don't think they've had an official presser or signed anything, but I could have sworn it was for August 16th.
We just
But
got
it
the
hasn't-
we just got the June, but if I usually go by this is how I usually know when a fight's happening or not. You just subtract 8 weeks from the fight date, and you're pretty much. And if you see fighters in the gym doing what they're supposed to be doing, or if they're still at home, then you pretty much know that it's not going down. If fighters are still doing whatever vacationing in 6 to 8 weeks out from that fight date, that's pretty much telling them right there.
I'll tell you this: if it doesn't happen by that date, I think he's going right to the Jake Paul fight in November. I think he's going to pass over it. Like, to be honest, that's how I feel.
That'll be a shame. That'll be a shame, though. That'll be a shame because it'll always linger over his head.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Tank really cares though.
I don't think he does either. He's his own boss, so he's gonna do what he want to do.
He wants that money. Manny Pacquiao's check is going to be a lot bigger than the Lamont Roach check. The Jake Paul check is going to be a lot bigger, and he said he wants.
Why are we talking about Jake Paul? The man was fighting at 2 something. Why are we even having this conversation? That's the crazy part.
You got to talk to Tank. Tell him to Tank.
I don't really want to believe that story. Like that's
happening. It's happening. It is happening.
Okay, but what size gloves? 16
Bro,
ounces again?
I don't know. It's going to be some
2 minute rounds again. Like I don't want to see that.
Do you think Tank gives a shit? I don't think he cares. I think he cares about that check.
All right, get your money in.
I really believe.
Hey, if he's cool with that, that's his right. If he's cool with that, that's his right. But as a fan, I don't really care for that type of matchup. I mean, there's probably other celebrities if that's the case that you could fight around that weight, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, my kids get acting up over there. I gotta get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Oh, they're fighting over them waffles, them egos, Lego man egos over there.
These kids are nuts, but we'll continue this tomorrow. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Jamal, you gonna be on? Because Christina will be on tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Just
give me a little time to adjust, and I'll be on.
I bet tomorrow morning, brother. I got you. We out here. Let me save these kids from their mother.
All right.
My guy.
Salute y'all.